first people walked across a land bridge called Beringia about 15,000 years ago. These dates are sort of subject to debate because we don't have a lot of firm evidence. Most of the evidence is destroyed by ice and is actually underwater. But people believe, that is, scholars believe, that people traveled across the Bering Straits during one of the ice ages that pulled the water into massive ice sheets and lowered the water so that the Bering Straits were walkable. That's the land called Beringia. Now that the land has warmed up, the Bering Straits has disappeared. And of course, people didn't just walk across it. They actually lived in this land called Beringia for about 5,000 to 10,000 years. We have some evidence to back this up. Geneticists link Native Americans and Asians to a common genetic code about 21 to 42,000 years ago. The first accepted archaeological evidence points to human presence in North America around 15,000 years ago, and we can guess that most people came down into what is now North America about 12,000 years ago. This evidence points to the fact that the Ice Age, approximately 20,000 years ago, cut off northern Siberia from the rest of Asia, so that the population was stuck north of the glaciers, unable to join the population of Asia, but also unable to populate the rest of the Americas, except for a few very hardy souls who crossed over the glaciers. Once it warmed up about 16,000 years ago, more or less, populations migrated straight down the Pacific and inland to the center of the Americas. Around 13,000 years ago, it got a lot easier as the ice continued to melt and more people descended into North America and more civilizations started to emerge. These first people were nomadic, semi-nomadic hunter-gatherers, very similar to the people in Europe, Asia, and Africa at the same time. And they followed the herds across the land and probably had no idea that they were migrating from one continent to another. And you can see here an example of two of the ice sheets, so that the Laurentide ice sheet remained for between 20,000 and 13,000 years ago, but the Cordilleran ice sheet was the one that started to melt around 16,000 years ago.